Okay, so this is my most complicated setup yet. I got a new toy, and that is the Behringer Pro VS Mini. It is a synthesizer. It is a digital synthesizer. So far, so good. It's awesome. So I have a setup here. I got the Behringer Pro VS Mini. That's going into the Tascam Model 12, as are my vocals. Model 12 is plugged up to the MPC One Plus, and I'm getting the audio back out of the MPC One Plus into the Model 12. So I've got my Arturia Keylab Essential 49. That's the first generation, hooked up into the Behringer Pro VS Mini. And just a few challenges. So I'm going into the MIDI in of the Pro VS Mini. It's nice that a synthesizer that small has MIDI in, and it's nice that the Keylab 49 has MIDI out, because the Pro VS Mini is being powered by a USB charging brick, as is the Keylab 49. So yeah, had some challenges here, but everything sounds pretty good, pretty clean. And I've got a drum track queued up already. So what I'm going to do is, I didn't want to run through the entire process of making the drums on here in interest of making this quick. So this is my drum beat. It's a 4-bar loop at 90 BPM. So let me go back over to the MIDI here. I'm going to go to the pad mix, and let's go over to mute. And I'm just going to... Okay, so here I've got kits all out of the drum tracks, and this is a tape affected drum tracks version from Samples from Mars. So this is my kick here, and then I've got a snare also, and then I've got different pitches of closed hi-hat. So here's the highest, and here's the middle one. So they're in that pattern. I've got an open hi-hat here. Also got a cowbell. And then I have 3 toms. So I have high, middle, and low toms. All right, that's my drum track. Now, I've kind of got a pattern figured out that I want to play on the Behringer Pro VS Mini, and it's going to be an F, so I'm... So I'm going to do that over the drum track. I'm not the most dexterous keyboard player, because keyboard is like the last instrument that I picked to learn. So if I have to slow this down from 90 BPM, then so be it, and then we'll pitch it up later. But I'm going to head back over to the main. And I know you can't see what's going on the MPC One Plus today, but I'm going to walk you through what's going on. So I'm going to go over to the audio tracks. I've got an audio track pulled up. I'm going into channel 3 and 4, so stereo, into the Tascam Model 12. I don't have on any compression. The EQ is completely flat on both channels 3 and 4. And I have them both at -5 so that I can get a decent signal. And yeah, that's about the signal coming in. So here we go. I'm going to give it a shot. again because it's a little quiet. Okay. I'm actually going to turn these up a little bit because, yeah, that was a little too quiet. And this Pro VS Mini is pretty good, pretty quiet. So I am liking this thing so far. I've also got track 3 panned all the way to the left, track 4 panned all the way to the right. Let's go. Let's do it again. All right, sounding pretty good. I'm going to slap some compression on this in the MPC One Plus real quick. So turning the mix down to 70% from 100. Okay, I've got the threshold at negative 47.8 dB, and I'm adjusting the ratio of the compression right now. I've got it at 5.1 to 1, and I'm going to leave it here. Now I'm going to put air flavor on this. So I got this warbly effect on here now. It's got some noise. It's modified to 50%. The timbre depth is at 30%, and the flutter is at 57%. And now I think I'm going to add a delay on top of that. I've got it on 1/8, so 1/8 note delay, and the mix was at 100, but I'm going to turn it down to about 66. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's take it off solo and listen. Pretty saucy. So now I'm going to go in and find a bass patch. Let me just name this Pro VS Mini. And this program's actually called Twang Bass, but I actually have it up a couple octaves. So that's why it doesn't sound very bassy. But I like it. So Pro VS Mini, Prog 11, do it. Okay, great. So I'm going to open up another audio track 2, and I'm going to quickly change the inputs to 3 and 4 again. Let's go down. That's kind of cool, but I want something different. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. I think I'm going to rock with this one, so let me play along with it real quick. Yeah, good. Let's do this. I'm going to name this one real quick, and then I'll get started. And this is Program 27. I'm going to do it that low, and maybe I'll double it. So let's get it started. Here we go. All right, let me solo it. Listen back. So I am going to double this an octave higher. Let me add track number 3, and I'm going to name this Pro VS Mini Program 8. Program 27, I'm sorry. So I'm going to go up an octave on the keyboard. And yep, now I'm going to change this over to inputs 3 and 4. And here we go. Okay. Okay, good. I'm going to go in and mess with these just a little bit. So that's the higher octave of all of the bass. So I'm going to drop it back down to 0. And we're just going to make it sound a little better. Okay, I like the sound of that one. Let's take it off solo and see. Okay, let's mess with the second version of the bass. Here we go. I'm going to solo it. Let's see what it sounds like with everything else. Okay, so let's go over to this keyboard sound and I'll show you what I did to it. Here's the compressor. So you can see where my threshold is, my ratio. You see where it's hitting, output, the mix. Air flavor, I've got it on this megaphone setting. Let's see how it sounds with a little bit of distortion. This is before that. And then I got a delay on it also. Here's my delay settings. Here's without the delay. Here it is without all the effects. Cool. All right, let's go into the MIDI and let's solo these drums. Let's squash these drums a little bit, add some compression to those, huh? That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to go to the bus and I'm going to put that MPC 60 filter on this, see how that sounds. So let's go to main output, output 1 and 2. No, we don't want to mute you. We are going to see how it sounds. let's see how this MPC 60 filter sounds. I know I got to stop and start this thing to make it sound cool, because for some reason, when it's all allowed to play, even though it's not clipping on either the Tascam Model 12 or on my camera, the mix just gets really jumbled up when it's playing through this way. And this is one of my big gripes with the Tascam Model 12 for these purposes, but let's check it out. Okay, so that was pretty fun. The Behringer Pro VS Mini has some awesome sounds in it. I haven't messed around with a hardware synthesizer in quite some time. I used to have a Korg Mini Log, and that was a cool analog mono synth. I did some recording with that, but I ended up parting with that years ago, and I've only messed with V synths since then. So I'll have to get used to the controls on the Pro VS Mini, which so far so good. Let me grab this thing really quickly because it's pretty awesome. It's pretty small. Like, if you look at it in my hand next to my head, pretty small device, and it has a pretty good control section here. Everything is pretty much there. What you see is what you get. I'll just have to mess around with it, get accustomed to it. Yeah, that's got a pretty decent envelope section. You mess with the amp, mess with the filter. I think it has presets that you can save yourself. Haven't really messed around with that at all, but gonna have some fun with this thing. And it does sound nice going into the MPC One Plus. I might try like creating patches and multi-sampling them, so I just have them in the MPC One Plus at all times. In the past, I've done that with other people's synths, like went to a friend's studio and just multi-sampled his synthesizer. I think I also made a patch from one of the iPad V-synths that I use. I liked the patch so much that I went in and yeah, just kind of multi-sampled that. Created a key group program from it. The one thing that I want to say is with the Tascam Model 12, like, I'm just having that issue over and over again, and it's getting pretty annoying where when I'm using both modes. So right now I'm going into input 1 of the Tascam Model 12, and I'm using that in live mode. So that's not going through the MPC One Plus or anything like that. The audio from that is coming straight out into the camera, and I have the feed going out of the main left and right inputs into the the microphone input of my camera, which is the Sony A6400, and then I have channel 9 and 10 coming back with audio from the MPC One Plus. But whenever I do that, it's like the signal gets squashed. And so when I first start to play back the song that I've made on the MPC One Plus, you'll get the full spectrum. Everything will sound great. But after about 5 seconds, it'll squash everything. And some of the instruments will get lost in the mix. And every time I take the MPC One Plus and disconnect it from the Model 12 and then listen back to the song, I'm not getting that issue at all. And even when I play it back through the camera, you can notice, and I think in the last videos where I've used the Model 12, if you really listen hard, you can notice that some of the instruments, they're right up front where they should be, and then they just kind of disappear into the background. And I'm making sure that everything's not clipping at every stage. So I have the camera input at 5, which is extremely low. I have the input of channel 1 on the Tascam Model 12 up to, it's like just past noon, so it's not high at all. The actual fader for that channel is at unity, it's at 0. The main output is at negative, like I'll say -6. And when I'm talking right now on the dB meter of the Tascam Model 12, only when I speak really loud do I even cross -20 on the dB meter. And then on my camera, I'm not hitting the red ever. And that's when music's coming out and that's when my voice is coming out. So this just seems like a Model 12 issue. And I really don't understand this issue. I really wish this issue didn't exist because it's very frustrating when I'm trying to make these videos and it's noticeable enough to me that it makes me want to pause because, yeah, it's just I'm not getting the sound out of the music that I'm recording that I want. It's not coming across to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys who watch this can hear where it gets squashed, because I'm curious. It might be one of those things where I'm noticing it because I'm the one making the music, and so it's just very prominent to me, but nevertheless, it does exist. I keep saying I'm going to give the Tascam Model 12 one more chance, and then I keep using it again. It's because it is a very attractive piece of gear, both from the feature set that it purports to offer and visually. I like the appearance of it on my desk next to the MPC One Plus and next to whatever other gear. And then I like the sound of that one knob compression. I like the ease of that one knob compression. On my skateboarding channel, people who watch that channel have really noticed the difference in the audio quality when I'm using the Model 12 and going into the camera. And when I make the videos for my skateboarding channel, obviously there's no issue because there's only one channel of audio coming out of the Model 12 into my camera, and there's also no digital signal getting mixed into it from the MPC One Plus. But I really bought this to use with the MPC One Plus. I mean, I have a Line 6 HX Stomp, which has tons of compressors. If I really needed just to compress my voice going into an interface, I could use that. And there's also post compression. Right now I'm using LumaFusion to edit my videos, and the compressor in LumaFusion isn't the best, but it gets it done for an audio application. But I do have Adobe Premiere, and I do have a lot of compressor plugins, some 1176 plugins, yeah, just all kinds of, all the Logic plugins. The other option is I could bounce the audio track out of my videos and compress that in Logic Pro. There's just a whole lot of options, and none of them really require the Model 12, so it's just making me really consider getting rid of this thing, which I would rather not do, but I guess I'll get it figured out. First world problems. Thank you for watching. Enjoy making music. Peace.